Good evening, everybody. Oh, thank you. Uh, that in train. Nganzo dashi ya di main de karasena ane shanju ji sen korre ane kasen ngoma ya ane te chutare tende sonda di ma hyuya ga lama di tere ma ane ramba ki da man roya tu chi ane shanju ji sen gondang shanju ji sen kendang oda duzu kande ji la che ge yome ju kande ji go go yome shanju ji sen che wala ju kande ji tambo lo kande ji ngon do go yome onda di ko la ma du xue yi.
Hello. Yeah. So far we have covered, topics relating to compassion, how to develop compassion, and means and way to develop compassion, and we talk about neutrality and karmic cycles, beginningless and endless. So today we will just continue from our previous session.
Ane tende sonza ngara tu tsangma lo ya nangba sangje ba jire tende sonza ane nangba sangje ba la ya deta o shanju ji sem deta ane ngole ya ngenjong da senje la tsewa che ya ke tene ngaran zo shanju ji sem de ane jase shanju sem ba la ya tene pe masiba ngaran zu deba che goya da o du zu junsen de lo to pe ja chenbo lo ja chenbo o du cha de ba re den zu sonza ngaran zu den zo la pe da chen ngaran zu go ya ti jin ju chong chen nya len che goya je namba sang je ba ke chenbo ji cha de res.
So as a Buddhist, as a Mahayana Buddhist, developing compassion is very special and profound way to attain bodhicitta mind. And last time we went through this so-called Lama loving gate. So you need to pay, good attention and try to get inspiration and try to put it into practice, after the teaching in your daily lives.
O tende ji sonza chu tsama ke ane ngaran zo nyingko dawa da shanju ji sen de tekpa chenpo ke cha de yore chu dawa da mar dawa so na da woma na na chu de karar sen na nalo la mar ji tyong rawa o di dan shin ji nganzo buddhism ka ane sanje ke chu de la ya tomba cha cha thaba chu ma sung ya ya den de dog do son da wore ngenjong da shanju ji sen che emptiness la tongne la de sum nan de ne tsama lo le ya di sum yoga ba nge ba to ya changko ba chres renunciation compassion and compassion and emptiness three.
So whatever we learn about dharma, whatever teachings we attend, whatever we hear, the essence of Mahayana Buddhism or Buddhism overall falls into renunciation, compassion, and emptiness. So these three are the the core sort of core meaning and core subject of the whole Mahayana Buddhism that we learn and we try to improve. So you have to focus your importance on these three topics.
Today's on the ane ngarantsung chela ya de ya sanje na ma jubi ke tin paren chen juntu na ma yong ya de chik ma sung sanje sung kan de sung shan do sanje ki chö kan de teaching ten do ane di nya len che de ma ji chi ki she lab ya re ma do ane sa ba modern da de sa hu ya de sa so ya ji she cho re la na she cho ma re la sanje ki sung ma yin ke ji chö hen na pen do yo ma re de sung za ji kin ma juren de go res ma to te ga ji pe je she ba chang ge ya ji le she shen nan de ge ma re de sung za ngo ne ma la ma do za pa chen ma hye che sung ju de hye che so so ge top ane me le pa te ya ane di gan juren ti go go res men ane juren de Sanje na ma gyubi ke tan tanda pati juran du sunde ya jig re ma to sawa sawa modern da tende kar nye da tende ke mar sanje kara sung ba de tega na da thumba jama he ya me sab so ya tende ke yo mares.
So Geshe said what do you call all the teachings that we hear from our gurus, our lamas, there should be some sort of pattern, continuous flow of teaching from guru to guru to disciple, and then it keeps on going down the keeps on continuing, and so the what do you call, it's very important that the purity of Buddha's teaching remain intact, and because these modern times, many people, they tend to add their own thought or own what do you call assumption, so you should be very careful when you go to teaching or taking vows about all of these.
Ta kashik tengu no kashik tende me kashik tengu ores dal lama saware pe da geshe saware pe da ko manda nyembo da she oyor san tende regu chena ane ndigo mare she jikba da ore men de sanju senche ane compassion da renunciation da emptiness ti ko la ya jachen bo chin man de hi jachele kande jena ma chu du shewe na tisum nan thu de ba jere sanji gisung.
So whenever there is a new geshe or new guru to teach you, they tend to be some sort of overexcitement, like you might hear something totally new, totally profound that you have never heard before, which Geshe-la said is very untrue, because all in all, it all comes down to the same three: compassion, renunciation, and emptiness. The only variation could be the depth or the what do you call how extensive the teaching will go. So yeah, that you can sort of absorb from the teacher itself. Otherwise, whatever Buddha has taught like 2,000 years back, it should be same, and mostly it will be the same.
Oh, then the song that Jazi Chambo Shivala kita na ayan dewa kita ni sung yore. Karisana ngola mahia jengala sawa shia me ngoje majuk pa yan dijo mes ngola shia maja ki jengala sawa shia yore la na te yo mares dejo kheba tala nyamba shinge trod ma spelling chedang de trajelo ki thone pa chuzone ko delu ndamanda so dan jama do ngol mahia pa jengala sawa shia me ba de ani jase chembo hiwala ya tu sung bares hiwala la na tanda jedu chonyi na ne dak 인지 돈 갈라나 아얀 데발라나 콘칠라기도 싱게 시발라 어따디 마시에션 안디라다
If you have heard of this particular incident, Ayadewa, Ayadewa. Yeah, you've heard of Ayadewa, right? 아니
어디 양 코랑기 쇼준라 소바데 송요레 da jendu choni la na sanje mar sanje je la chonjo ane jaga kheba jendu choni yorwa jendu yore da na khore ke song ne ane dus chene ma song de ane nge ngoma she ma ja ke ji sa she re yo je la na me yina ya ta ma trene chi khetang de khare se na me la le la wa ton ko de we che ton ma ji zodan ram da da me re re la da me na so la khoya che So there
used to be Ayadewa, and he wanted to receive teaching from one of the great group of saints, and so what they told him was, I have nothing new to teach. The only thing you might hear differently is depending on the mental ability of the disciples, he might try to use, different various ways to fit their mental abilities. Otherwise, the gist of the teachings will all be same.
Religion this ane nyamare company ki sawa new model sugure dinna chala thewana ki sawa ji thong ya dinde era na mares.
So it's not like our modern machines, there's no like version 2 or version 3 and upgrading of versions. It's all same and it's all pure.
dinde sonza ane ta choran changma log ya soso ki depa chine khande chenandra ane light offering chenandra post station chenandra ta karre senan ngandang chu shaju ji sen la ya the compassion to be the emotion the so the compassion to go war compassion to senje tham je ton da ane senje tham je ton donghe da tran don changma ta je dewa shaju ji sen la da sanje ji salang go sanje ji sala leba ina ane tu jun da naja jun da country news ka du ina dewa happiness yo ba je de sonza delang goya ke ya tangbo emotion je le ne sano tu stang chen offer kar che ba ina senje thanje sanje ji salang go sano de go res.
So in your daily lives, whatever activity you carry out towards earning merit, the most important thing you have, the most important aspect of it must be your intention, your emotional state, and it all should be with a pure, genuine compassion, not only towards you or yourself, but to every sentient being, to cure the disease of continuous suffering of all the sentient beings. That must be kept in your mind when you carry out all these activities.
This one the touch around ya sanje buddha ya offering bab offering chenanda led operation and post station chenanda ane sunchu teaching nyana listen to teaching or also to there is emotion is compassion de gore tagas de kolonde de injimini kolonde shanju sengores.
It all depend on your intention, your whatever you can, you like. Maybe you do praying, you offer some lights, you come and attend some teachings. But if your intention is wrong, then all the efforts you put in, is totally waste.
Oh, that then this on that in my any cousin something to this on the Shanju Sen la data. Then the Shanju Sen to Gombala, the Hengore, Matogore, Hakore, Yengore, and the Shene. Ani this ano tang wo da gom ne yang ne da ma he go ma kan de chung dong du ma le da ka den che tang kan de re ani dila telen ja tang kan de go go du won da du ton ma che ne za wa de ne song de ne o chang ma lo le ya shang ju sen de ani ko long do chang ma ha go go ba ji song zan dang bo nyen tu ha go go res yang go go res.
So everything you hear in this teaching, when you go back, you try to sort of review it. You think about it, and you try to analyze it, and think again, analyze it, try to find this deep meaning. And for example, we last session we talked about recognizing every living being as your mother, and you might face difficulty at the very beginning, to put this into practice. But then again, you sort of meditate it, you analyze the concept, and you try to go through all the processes, and then again you try to improve yourself in gaining this this mind.
대간나 이제 총지 잡아이나 맞으면은 총제요 맞대나 이제 그 gom 제와이나 라 meditation 제와이나 그 gom이야 지 산노 땅에 지 고르마 대가지 그 동바지 맥점되나 팽거 말했을 때 리더 땅와나 이제 최인다고 지금 더바이 더반다고 더 리셋인다고 nga다고 멘탈다고 다나이나 가레 리셋다고 제와이나야 당보 꼴롱데 되게 emotion 데 가르가르 고고요 emptiness 다 샹주지 센당 연중라서 바산노 땅네 아니 직제바이나 펜도 자침보지 연구원 마 내가 리더 땅만나 이제 그런 바 님따바라지 직제데 와서다 직제다 직샤텐다원 되야다보다 제다 music 라서 동야레 동야레 제 초바 피아레 디 레가다고 지니 제데바이나 아니 펜도 자침보시라고 말했어.
So if you carry out all these supposedly activities which will bring you or earn merit, but without pure intention, without having compassion, without thinking about emptiness or renunciation, then all these efforts you put will go in vain.
Oh, that in this song and catch and watching. Oh, Naran Kashi Kwashi Mashi in the song that continues Machonansuya, the dates in the young body to Sutola Mandova share the interest that Jigdela Tonancheroches.
So we will just follow through where we left last time, and Geshe-la is asking all of your attention, and yeah.
Oh yeah, that in this one that cousin the Mashi or that mad the country garden chimbo in about the mad the tenchimbo country in the tethering my leg or rest that in man trade in the Hyangdule and then to the mata here.
So if you remember, we talk about recognizing all the sentient beings as your mother, and how one should recognize all our mothers, what do you call it? Gratitude and the sacrifice they made. So today we'll just go little bit more deeper in it.
Oh, that in this on the ane rangi tering ki rikpande kasang ki repeat jumda talo ki rikpade longami repeat jum by Hindu ane rangi tsendi rikpande tsengami repeat jumda tsengami rikpade tsendi ngami rikjun but tena he pa tena depende to me shawa tene me barikpa thai to me the troop jinlata ngarang chu shewa ngama ma jurim de khandi rikpade yong baralana ane ngama yatu na dene urla ya jugutu ya mares.
So if you talk about our mental awareness or consciousness, and if you want to sort of pinpoint the origin of it, it's impossible. There is no you can't find or trace the origin, how the mental awareness has origin, because we believe in there's no beginning for in samsara, right?
Tende sonza nganzo di tanda jewa de jewa ngama de ki ma de jewa ngama che tu ya tungro de ane dene re la ya ma de na ji khoa le yang khoa de thongma de kare yor sana khoa thongma khoa re la na kanen go chu re me tangbu senje kanen cha re la na ta din zu gu chu ye yo ma re tende sonza kanen tangbu chung re ande kande che khoa cha re la na andi khoa le midi de la go ro meda tondro senje do zo ke so de kande chung re la na ya tu ni ji ma ye du la thume cha de tende nang kha le yan do na thu ye yo ma ro de na ye respect.
So even if you try to trace back the origin of samsara, you will go until eternal, but still there won't be a point where you stop and you'll say this is the beginning. So everything is, but the more important thing is we know that for this life we come from our previous life. So previous life. So the important thing is you realize that there is a continuation, a mental continuation.
Oh, tende sonza khoa le ya thoma yo ma res thoma ani yor la jo ma thama de yor senje tham je sang je sna ne khoa thama cha sar khoa me ba cha gre te sonza dini che ba res.
But as we said, there is no beginning, but the ultimate when all the sentient beings attain Buddhahood, then that should be the final goal of samsara. So to put end of samsara, we're out of the samsara karmic cycle. So that's the end of this karmic cycle or samsara.
Oh yeah, that and this sonza. What the match lotion or your answer?
So just read the paragraph here. Your awareness of today is a mental continuation of awareness you had yesterday. This year's awareness is a mental continuation of the awareness you had the year before. Just so your awareness over this entire life is mental continuation of the awareness you had in your former life. The awareness you had in your former life was in turn a mental continuation of the awareness you had in the life before that. You can continue back in regression like this and absolutely never reach some point where you can say, prior to this, I had no awareness. This then proves the infinite regression of one's awareness.
Oh, that and this on the rangi ngaransu koa telea and tame, shewala tame, but koala tame, dan kandilana, toma metan kandilana, nganzo me kewa dilia kane kere la telaya sasho debal kendo denen thoma chundu la ya sa da zambuling la ba zugu chungna ya jakab de la tangbo kere la ya chi yor sana yo ma kawache kewa ngoma ne ya tu bai na ni tang me bat de res.
So Yeshida is just stressing more about the same idea. So you can't go back and trace the beginning of beginning of samsara. So you always have to look forward and try to get out of samsara, this karmic cycle.
Tegan na ye nga senjen dig luilang me la ya de changka do ji je ya ko na thegre la na changka theg mari changka che ya de yore la na yo mares chi che wa ka se leng yo pa che wa ka se bhajo che wa ka se leng la chi che ge du che ya de me ba de res chang me ba res.
And in the same manner, there is no way you can count like like I've born as a dog, this many times. I've born as a cow this many times. There is no way you can actually make a accurate count or any. You can't even attempt to make such count.
Oh, dende sonda ane chichi bu jewa le ya changa je yore la na yo mare khase na Singapore ki ga se yore ane dene America ki ga se yore da dende ki khoron la ale mambu shi yore changa je thok marwa zambuling le ki ga se yore da den na hyen je zambuling ma ji ga ling yen ba le yore kho ale yon jol mambu yore zambuling ji bo mare ling shi yore ling shi de la ane dende te ga na chik jewa ga se le yore chi ko na chi thoya yo mare chichi bu jewa le ya na.
Just to begin with our own world, like if you try to count like all the animals, all the, let's say, dogs, and like it's a very it's an enormous task and almost impossible to do. So then our world is just another one. Then in Buddhism we also believe in like endless this what do you call sort of not solar system but universe, like universe, or even like many universe. So there's no way you can count just this life. So that means like the previous life, it's we don't even have to discuss about it.
Oh, that and this sonza. Oh, that and the sonza. Ani senje thamje la that dus tikba da war chadre. Ani te sonza ani changa de jagona de jemato ba ten senje changma la tega tikba me na da mel ka se kewale chile ka se kewale na 다 바조다 메레레 찌제 먹어 봐시데 참마 찍바레 장가 제토야지 요래라 요 마레스 다 소소 마데드 가세스 찔른델라케 마데 야지 찌노 베나 아니 제왕가만 가마 두세 뒤라 마찍보 딜라 칠라케 잡아 가세 요베 멜라케 잡아 가세 다 찌야고나 찌토야 메바 던데레데 선제 탐제라 두산노 존네 다 마델라야 장문두 산 쟁고고레스.
So since we can't count like how many birds you have taken as this particular animal or this particular being, so you can assume that you have taken like equal amount of birds in like every living being, every sentient being. Like you have been dog as much as human or like any other animal. So each bird you take, you have your own mother. So if you multiply that with all the other sentient being and all the rebirth, there's so the number of mothers in this universe is immense. It's like impossible to count. Limitless sort of.
Oh, that and this on the anetine majlo shairo tena senje thamje senje jindi rangi mama je bas maje shawa chijame senje re chang rangi ma thang me bare sheba chata yim Metibutela, Rangama Majeba, Tangi Mechope, the four like in my lost time to
So read the paragraph. Therefore, there exists no being who has never been my mother. Absolutely every single one of them has been my mother a countless number of times. Even the number of times that each has been my mother in just my birth as a human is past all counting too.
Oh yeah, Tetara Sanje Tamje Rangi. Rangi ma chang me bare yangda yangdo shi ngehi huda ma sheba yang yangdo gongbore ta te songza ane ta senje thamji tu de rang ma rendu ma de la chang khron mendu re le chi jagona ya changa chisu mendu ta te songza tila ya mor soso ko ma yin ba ngo he ba chen senje thamje ma he ba ma he ba ngon zende 아니 양네 양도 맞는데 다 소소 단다 첸데게 만나힌지 뜻은지 다 깨라 연구도 문득되니 로그 산노도 드라도스 참마 소소 마체 투사레 투사 마레 다이나 소소 그다 다다오데 이난다 바조다오도 참마니 깨와 야둑도 참마 단지 세데 소소 그 마첸데게 만나히지 따토 마토파도 공고고레 마마 공고고레스.
So when you do this meditation, so just like Geshe said before, when you realize that every living being has been your mother, like countless time in every different form of rebirth, and at the same time now when you look back to somebody, like your enemy or somebody you dislike, and you can also you try to see that person in the same position, just being your mother for like endless times as humans, as dog, or every other beings.
That in my gomsa ma yapoj hakona mala the candidate, ma hits and a ma here where carping mare, that ma dig carrel sosola, cotton chamber country into 10 to the 10 malaya the source of 10 chamber country in but the anet and so good ma get that's the here jagins.
So the next step would be, and so once you reach a level that you can see every living being in very neutral, with high neutrality, that every living being, no matter your friend, your enemy, this dog, or anyone, as your mother, then the next step you should take is developing a sense of gratitude, towards them.
That and this was the 10 chamber country, but 10 with the Peshan, so amal, kickboard, sending mark, country, chickadus, that did the mother pony Peshan, Mashigans.
So we'll first sort of talk about our current, life, your current mother, how she has gone through hardship for you, and then we will slowly.
That's in the Amag in country, and Amag Pola country Chigurasana, and Pesha Shabina, so Ami not to the Ami Cobon on a chap and a zonde, and they put the laya. Watching that, so I'm a Pugu Yoba in a Chabaina, so Cobon and Pugu Yobaina, and it comes the Kalakajumaj Messiah, Dr. Chagoya, and so Nepa Nagachene, and Sarah Sanye Trom, the Kala, the Nugurs, Pugul Nugurs, and Samachoya Mambu, Kali Japchin, Sajem Meba, so Sakando Sataj Meba, Pugutel Nugres, and Sewa Kitchen, Pugula Sewachin. Oh, Taganagi, oh. Rangi mai supola nepa nagichin komba chembo japaina an pugute ane kangen tegeresan tuchine o komba hukchembo the judge meba ane dawa goda shago nyama chupa the tus kobola college and nyagures.
So okay, I read the paragraph. Developing a sense of gratitude is the next step, and you can start by taking your mother in this present life. She began her hardships for me while I was still in her womb, gladly taking it upon herself to avoid anything she felt might hurt me, even down to the food she ate, treating herself with care as though she were sick. For 9 months, 10 days she carried me in her womb, looking at our own body as though it belongs to someone else, someone very ill, and even hesitating to take big steps.
Oh, Teganaye, that ma Puguchi na Mal Natsare, Kange Kaseyoba. Ane Dungen Semeba, Mala Yumba. Ane Mala Nutsa Chembo Yumba. Ane Tedu Kange Tendich Yumba Inaya, Ameke Pugude, Ane Sosu Pugude, Ane Tandanjik Deka Shebaina, Rumbuchelana, Joeda, the Nepesha, the man in the Dunza, Rumbuchina, Yachem, but you said that order la Sobal Sacha, Nayan, Suzu Pugude. Ma Kange Kasit Chumba Keche, user Machi, the Kange Kasit Tebaina, Pugu the Matia Bachabana, Gazer Chigures.
As she gave me birth, my mother was torn with violent suffering, excruciating pain, and yet still felt an overwhelming joy, as though she had discovered some precious gem that would grant her any wish.
Oh, that was Sonza, Pugu the Matia Bane. Ane pugu de mache duda ane pugu de karesena ane amadi thus kali jabber pugu the matching the ane pugu koranga on yanjo lakba yapza cheya ji lakba dus gujo tangs sheshiya ji damato jen kaya sing mari kecha shi singer la na sing mar kuba na gere a komba je thugure la na thugo mari hyao na geres ane 가가세 제부터야 두스티마 제용고요 레스 당보 소스 부글 마 아마나 제용들 아니 답이나 지지나 인치네 아니 레드나 이치네 카마보지 카디요 지 락바요 지마도 아니 요 말에 아니 마게 두스친 소송 제고고요 레스
So okay again kisna malosena
로시나 당볼지 로나 아니 마지 제나로
So I read again here. Right then, I knew absolutely nothing more than to cry and wave my arms around somehow. I was totally helpless, totally stupid, incapacitated, nothing more than some baby chick with red rubber beak, still yet to harden. But she swayed me on her fingertip and pressed me to her body's warmth and greeted me with a smile of love. So here, Geshe-la, I want to stress like how when you were born, you were, totally innocent and like you can't do anything on your own. We can't even. Talking is way far. We just cry and but still we sort of survive under mother's care, mother's love, and she still continue to give her care and her she still continues to make sacrifices.
두스다 아메 가르치고선 안에 소속이 샤이 줘래 자르치는 보고는 차도래야 또들래요 산제와게 안에 소속이 가위 남주 땐체 게모 거체 보고를 따네 두스치네 안에 소송 셰바지 레스.
So every time she's worried about whether you are hungry, whether you are cold, or whether you are feeling well, or so she always try to and the only source of smile that she get is when you smile. So she live by this sort of motto like every day.
안에 소소 아메되게 안에 보고들라 가위게 미기 남주 땐치 미기 따치 안에 칼류 날류 나도라서 바체야 마장와디 조발라서 바다 든도 참만나지 아마게 내가 지치는 소송 제치는 안에 키 안에 아마 오마티 안에 보고라 가르긴 누구요 메트서 마테 보고라 가르 핑게요 바다 상마테 누구요레스.
So so when we were babies, so every sort of dirty things, unpleasant things like our bodily fluids and everything is whipped or cleaned by our mother without any sort of what you call bad emotion, and so everything, even she if she has to do with her own hands, there's no hesitation, and like when you can't bite, she will try to chew first and then try to feed you. So but every second she's thinking about you, she's thinking about your well-being, and she sometimes even forget about taking care of her own health.
What that this on the ane with joyful like the maloging.
So read again. With joyful eyes she gazed on me and whipped the snot from my face with her lips and cleaned my filthy shit with her hand. Okay, I'm sorry. Sometimes she chewed my food for me and fed me things like milky porridge straight from her mouth to mine. She did her best to protect me from any hurt. She did her best to get me any good.
What this on the anti-dog cups rang she do lenny sama tanja my donla did. 마데 찌볼라 레와치네 도그 바총 아랑게 디두 아미 딘지 마잖아 추수지자 메드데 샤다 치소기 산로와 소레 손보용지 레와 메바 랑가 아미니레라양 송고 자자 잠템비 텐요 텐데 송자 아 가르세나 마디기 땅 아란송야 아마 코롱게 지두 간데지 중바이나야 지보다 두보 간데지 중바야 아란송 안에 아마디기 아란송 강에 간데 지보다 대보 약보 용야라 창마 단지 아메그 로바체치는 안에 마데기야 가든 첨보진 장네 안에 갑대자가 부고 맞춘중 임자가 아마게 마데바이나 아란주 치기 사야당 샤기 사야다 추수지야 대야게 디요 마레스 라이프트 쇼양게 디요 마레스 대송도 창마 아메게 다숑 제샤바지레스.
First I'll read. In those days I had to look to her for everything, good or bad, happy or sad, all the hope I could have lay in one person, mother. But for her kindness, I wouldn't have lasted. But for her kindness, I wouldn't have lasted an hour. They could have set me out in an open ride. Then some birds or a dog would have come and made a meal of me. I'd have no hope of coming out alive. Every single day, she protected me from harms that could have taken my life, no less than 100 times. Such was her kindness. So the point that is trying to get across here is when you are, at this tender age, you're sort of vulnerable to your surrounding, your environment. Every way there's danger. Like you might get hurt, or in worst case, you might trip. Fall. And if you live near big animals, you're not very safe from that. So you virtually sort of survive under mother's care and mother's love.
Oh, that was sonja ane ngaran sumbo de ala ya ta nyamarere de da so chama tan nyamarere de chene ane so ja chamje ane garsena so nyekha to chama da amagi kyapshayores tende sonja ane ta so ya lo chembo chaonde ane rangi dungeda digba tam de zula amagya 두치는 만젠바 사사 친 소소 다 노롱셔 사야다 참마단지 부고되게 쳇들야 아메게 강요바데 아니네 부고들라 아니 샤야게 두치게요레스.
And while I was growing up, she gathered together whatever I needed, avoiding no bad deed and no suffering, and caring nothing for what other people might say of her. All the money and things she handed over to me, hesitating to use anything for herself. So even when you grow a little bit older, your mother is sort of trying to find ways to fulfill your needs at that time, like financially, emotionally, even like physically. When you fall sick, she will attend you.
다 든데 손자니 마 가실라 다 너로 너 롱셔 배샤라서 봐 열리 열에 멜리 열에 간여 받던다 부부의 체도 마 샤고 열에 스타트 제위 체도 제와가 통하시나 마 샤고 열에 다 든데 손자 아니 다 부고데데 야 첨보 차바 있나 아니 아마디기 다 부고데 잡아 있는다 다 가래 있나 메자 있는다 가래 있나야 다 잡아를 빼 잔델에 시샤 대송자 다 아미기 노제 소소를 샤는 다 소소 잡아 제지난다 Then Pugu lawyer chen loda draw ya chembo chaba na kandi cheba inje tanji amig tinje shane ane dus chen garden la tene chungba ji reja sam go res.
For those who are I'll read again. For those of us who are fortunate enough to be practicing the monastic life, it was the mother who put forth all the necessary expenses, giving without reservations to arrange our admission into the monastery, and from that time on she supported us here from whatever resource she had. Thus, the kindness she has shown us is truly without measure. So, here the example is monastic life, which is more relevant here. So, you can think of your own life, in your own when you were growing up. So, whatever necessities you need, to sort of achieve your own goal, So, for example, you can take as your school, or when you go to school or something, your mother will try to let you attend, extra tuitions. And when you study late, she will try to bring something if she thinks you're hungry. So, all in all, she's making a lot of sacrifices even then, to support you.
Oh, that was something. Sendi me tinji changba teya sendi jibu mayemba rangi cerangama mangbo tinje ba yani yandu changbare tesonda sendi jibu chan chego mare cerangama ya tinjembo yani yandu madu zo suina ya cerangama ya 내가 난시 막 tinji changba yemba ha ko bache ani sendi chamaje senje tamje dada ani jewa da nawan chiwa tambo jewa ani gawa ani las hiwa las ba kandi ji chungba ina ne ngoma sheba mato chera ngama du suke jewa ngama du ngam matar chi yorwa wondan du suke ya du su chetere tenji changdu samba 아니 찍바레스 샤다레스 다 샤다레라나 찍바레라 단다 마데 장바나 힌 세랑아마게 마다르다 가리나 치나다 메난다 타인다 가리나 뜻속에 대가 찍바 장요레스.
So I read here, and this is not only life in which my present mother has given this kindness to me. She has showered me with this kindness, great kindness, over and over, countless times in many, many lives before. And she's not the only one. Every single living being has been my mother in my past lives. And during those lives, she cared for me no less than my present mother does. It is only my transition from death to birth that prevent me from recognizing all these mothers now. So, like we talked before, once you recognize this strong gratitude towards your present life's mother, and most of the sacrifices she made, you can see day by day. And so, if you think about your previous lives, from our own eye or from our memory, we can't see that. It's only because we are, dying and we are taking rebirth. We're dying. So you have to realize that only because of that we can't see or you can't find the gratitude. Otherwise, your past mothers have made same amount of sacrifices that your, mother in this life is making.
those songs are ta pe shabaina, pe na cha shabaina. Tondro ane chi la soba, shashiu la soba. Tonzuke yang ane korangi ma deke da chiu de ina chiu je pe shaba ina ya puguji ina chiu deke ane ama deke soa to shelo londo na kala to khyong chiu de tangbo tene chungjung zene ya chenbo phama de padalong ko nyashong ji chen hibo ji koran zong zewa chigi was.
So when you look around, and if you have observed even the small chicks, when their mother go and try to find some food for them, they anxiously await in the nest. The mother will try to feed in each of their mouth, one by one. So even a bird can have this much sort of a mother of a small little animal can have this much affection towards the offspring or the young ones. So you can imagine, in every animal, every different sentient being, the mother is taking care of the child in the same manner. Maybe the acts might be different, but it's more like in different versions. But the manner in which they make sacrifice and give love, it's all the same.
Oh, this one that Shanju sense about Junde doing gone. Ane ma sheba tambo ma imba ngo sheba ma kandeji me ngo she. Ti jela ya mai temba de tanda de. Ta tene ma she ten ta garden chemo kande yimba tanda she de man do. Ane garden chemo kande yimba de tanda she chawa do re. Te song da dunzu she gor ma de tene garden ten dang hinge marwa garden kande chemo yimba ama de la de. Garden chemo kande yimba tambo ten to go ma she thoma ma she ne sozo ma yimba ngonza kande chego do ta. Dijila ama de tenchembo kande yimba sano sozo chen dig ma pe yan. Se sinjen de zong shewa ngama to so pa pe yan. Ane gomne chikpa na gi che to ba gongu go res ma hi ten gom. Ta tande tini jela kar ta ama ngma tende tenchembo yimba ta tri garden jele chewa ten zowa se der. What this was that did ma hi gi.
So far among the 4 steps, we covered the first 3. The first one, recognizing all of every sentient being as your mother, and second step is feeling gratitude towards your mother for the sacrifices and the love they've given. And now the next step is to develop a wish to wish for enlightenment, so that you can cure all the sufferings for all these sentient beings who has been your mother.
Oh, tende sonda ta ko garden chembo yimba ha ko na tene te garden chembo yimba ji shin ta di garden de jiden che ya la ya me gi so so su gi na me ji na jambo ji chen de la ya je la ya so so repele che ya ji ta di garden jiden ko la pha ya po che ji san no ko gu re te na ye pu de la tende ya po ji che ya ba na hin nga ran zo chama la ma la ya de tende garden chembo ra ya ma de la tene so ya la ane ta garden jiden che ya la ya khande ji go re se na.
So you can't just realize that somebody is. I'm very grateful to somebody. So you just don't sit. You try to repay their kindness, repay their sacrifice. Likewise, for our mothers, which are all the sentient beings, you must find a way to repay their kindness and their love and their sacrifices they made. So the best way you can repay them is gain enlightenment and then to what you call solve all the problem in this world, which is because of the karmic cycle.
Oh, that is on that Jim Zoala Delaya. The Dana Rala Toma Mepe Tut Ne, Yaya Jinji Jambi, Mas Sinjanam, going to hear Chu Yi Junji Chinko, Janzo Chembo, Long do Chene, Donga Sola Soba, Jinjeme, but not the Hindu Yan Tabala. That's also Amadia, and the Koana Long do your Koa Delanaya, Pe Yadulia, Janzola Pe Yashin, Chu Yegayam, Chu Chembo Ye, but Digma Kodo Dulia, Jamzola. Long the Bayina, Chunachu, Dayalaya, Dungetalaya, Candage Gogore, Dungetan Chology, Long the Bayina, and the Amadi, Susu Putigata, Candage till I get Cottage and Chego and Ashing at Amadi, Koana Long the Yorena, Roasan Jetam, Jekoa Long the Yores, and this song some that to the Sama Amareja, that until Dungelaya, Cottage, Dungetele, Joyal, Tahi, Karachego do Sadadiri.
So I read here again. The next step in gaining the wish for enlightenment is to develop a wish to repay this great kindness. So every living being is my mother and has given me her loving care over and over endlessly. For time with no beginning, and we know from what was described above that they are being swept along by great four currents out to sea, to the vast expanse of the ocean of cyclic life. They are tormented without a break by 3 types of suffering and all the other pains. The situation is desperate.
Oh, the sons of Tata Pudelayang, Koi Janzole Tavi Tashaji, Yin the Jayam Mesamba Dena, Hindu Maratim, Tacha Yimbenas, Ta Amal Jaya Tandayan Koa Delian Tayalaya Jayalang Aranzo Rewaji Yobares, Pugudelina, Budita, Yaji Amadu, sons of Koa and Lungangi Yobadella, Oma. Jambuja the Sano Tony, that Maduzlia, Koa Nolia, Doyala, Koi Dungan Chehuresha, that Garden Jede Yemba, Karekule, the Koa no Dungela Hung de Yoret and De Sonza, that Koa de la Joya, Tahi Kareche Gudulana, and the Koa and the Dungan Dozon Tayalaya, and a Soso Kareche Gudu, that Tahi Kandeche Gudusena, and a Dindiji Majebaina, and Amadi Garden Chambo Dindijilaya. Garden Jede Mebachena and Metachada which had to go it, and this son of Township was a here but go to wood and the Dongan Kyoya and to Sine.
First I'll read here. And here am I, their child. Right now I have a chance to rescue them from this ocean of cyclic life. Suppose I simply sit and bide my time and give no thought to them. This is the lowest a person could stoop, base and absolutely shameless. So you have this great opportunity to study Dharma and ultimately gain enlightenment. And you're doing this, and right now your motive is you're doing this for all the sentient beings. First for all your mothers. And since all the sentient being is your mother, so in all, it's everyone, all the sentient beings. And so you need to develop a sense of urgency that you have this one golden opportunity and you must grasp it and try to make best use of it. Otherwise, as it says here, this is the lowest a person could stoop. So there's no way karma will forgive you if you waste this golden chance for somebody who has been so grateful to all of your life.
Oh, the days on the Tangarang, the Tim Jambala Kandegurlana, Tane, Senjera, Rangone, Segu Nemanyeva, so Negajukoi Dewata Mayemba, Tatuki Dewala Gona, Trezo Chodu Chivena, Dena Senje Tanje Dewata Demba, Donge Tanje Tawaki Chagubandu, Nyam the Sam Lady. Oh, that 다 소소게 세당 그거다 된지 아말이 된지 장바이나야 팬도 개면도 네갑 잔지레마도 동해 숨데 여러 가슴 단도 바나게 동해 숨데 가두이나 나데레 된데 송자 배 차자바이나 잠소네 미지 홍데 바이나 잠소들라 마데 바데 연다지지 세다 칼라지 육데나 시라 팬 여만 콜 딩 베게 잠소나 홍네 강인 첨보지 차도 송자 시알 녜도 송자 되나게 ngaranzu 코알을 홍차기나 동해 숨데 나르데 여레 동해 숨데 데 송자 가두이나 여러 아마도 참마나 여레 단데 송자 다 딜레야 동해다 자와치 제야 데다 약효데 가두이나 땡지 대와 산지 살랑 괴야디 고고도 다 디체야라 타히지 땡고도 우스산 다 진자 틀린자 약효데레스다.
First I'll read. Right now I could give them things they would be happy to get, food or clothes or beds to sleep on, whatever. But these are only some temporary happiness within the circle of life. The very highest way of repaying their kindness would be put them into a state of ultimate happiness. So let me decide within myself that every living being must come to have every happiness, and everyone should be freed as well as from every form of pain. So, I mean, as you grow, and at some point you might, at one point you might be able to repay your kindness in a form of, in the form of, financial help, maybe physical, and so like when you get a job and you can help your mother to have a comfortable life, you can look after her, you can fulfill the basic needs, but these are just the temporary happiness that you're trying to provide. And if you really want to pay the highest form of repayment, then it should be it should bring the ultimate happiness, which is to free her from like every form of pain, all the different kinds of suffering. And the way you can do this is to gain enlightenment and get her out of the karmic cycle. So Geshe-la gave example of somebody being left out in ocean, and you can give the person food, or you can make sure the person is not feeling cold. But if you can't get this person out of water towards a dry land, every single day you are giving food, it's just temporary. You are not solving the ultimate problem. So in the same manner, you have to take this opportunity and try to get all the sentient beings out of this karmic cycle.
That and this sonza and aranzo 대양 선제되라 사매지 대와다 갈라 여대 사제지 대와자야 문도 선제 코란츠 대와 이냠반데나 랑경 오주위 동안 샤다이 되주데 대와 대장 대위 주주면 셰바 mendu donga ju mendu chang donga ju dikpa pom sheba lando kolo de donga nyan tabi magen senjem the malotion number right now.
First I'll read. Right now it's absurd to say these beings have any kind of pure happiness. They don't even have any of the impure kinds. Every single thing they think is happiness. In its essence, nothing more than pain. They want wantable but don't want to know about doing the good deeds that bring happiness. They want no unwantables but don't want to know about giving up the bad deeds that bring pain. They act as backwards. They do what they shouldn't and don't what they should. So my dear aged mothers, these living beings are made to suffer.
That and this on that the candelia Jik Shubaina, that Sanjay Kashi, that make Kashi all the patient, your Koan de Langanzu Shebaina Samsar, Kibo Yin Tinker, Kibu Keo Mare, Kainsana Kola Pesha Kasayana, Tande Dunga de Galaga Mambo, your Kangi, your Samala Kangi, your Bajred, your Samsara Sonza, and do the Sonza that Kibo Tangma Lolia, Dewaji Tinki Dewaji, your Esana, your Mare Koare, and also coordinate yours on the Sanjay Tam. Sanji Mato Patini, Dunga the good in Chatugo, Mares, Dunga, your Bach Chadiore, the day Sonza, or Mandria Samalo, Diga Deva teach Deva Young by Naya, the Deva Sanji, the Shanju Samato, the Yape, and Saji, Deva and Deva Mata Chumata, the Disanji, your Mare, and Aranzo Carson, Samalolia, Dunga Mambo Pugo, Mandriba Kang, Dunga, your Barreta, Mambo, your Pugo, Mandrika, Pesha, and Pugo, Mandriba. Kajila Pesha Yuna, the company, the Tachon Chere, Legachini, Commanded by Sena Nazazoya. What are those Yoyabares, Dunga
So as you look around in this life, you might see variation of success in people's life, and you might even vary in the definition of success. So if you talk about financial success, let's say somebody has been very successful in his or her business, and but no matter how successful, no matter how much money that person makes, you will never find that. I mean, there will never be a moment that this person has no problem or no suffering. No matter how much somebody, let's say, so okay. By definition, somebody might have reached the ultimate success, but in the very truest form, this success is just sort of an illusion, So in this life, even in this life, only to some extent this person's success can solve, that amount of problem. But all these suffering we talk about, all these, forms of pain, this will never go away as long as you remain in this, karmic cycle.
That sonza ane ngarazo chamala donge dos ke donge song ka duina nati ke yore tende sonza doha sanje tham jele ya donge dos nati yore ta donge ke de donge de da ya trane dewa da dena ke marong dewa da dena kandre ya bo mendu sano tik tang dewa da demba de chama sanje tham ke dewa yongba de ngara rang ke ya Sanjay Sanjay Salam Goyalaya, Dunga the Tayalaya, Sano Tangoya, Genke Goya, do somebody go.
So when you realize that there's no true form of happiness in this life or any life as long as you remain in samsara. So imagine how good would you feel if if you can achieve the true happiness where you can where you have no suffering, no pain. So so that way you develop a strong desire to reach, that goal, reach a point where you are in the ultimate bliss, and you find the ultimate happiness, and you don't have to go through all this, cycle of pain and suffering again and again.
Oh, that was songs. Ane Sanjay Thamje ta dewa da donge ke jut da tagu dos. Ane dewa da tower chiji tower rangi che nyam to gomba. Ninja Hukja Boch and Sanjay Thamje, that Donging the Chana Chimaro, Sanjay Tanjeli Kibo Yonga, Sanjay Tanjeli Dubu Donge da Kange Menyoa, and di Chevala Yang, Ani Soso Rangi, Ani Sanji Salaya, Mangonata, Sanjay Lamato Dilla Nuba de Sokala, Donge Taya, Nuba de Mendo, that in this songs Ngara Tambo, Karagordlana, that in the Donge da Tayalaya, Ngara Sanji Sala Tambo Toyagaya, Sanji Satam Beton, Sanjay to Donge de Tayagaya Beto Machena, and Shenda Taki Kaya Mendus and Sano Dongores.
So, so once you realize that your goal should be to attain the ultimate happiness, the true form of happiness, and then you have to realize that just like you, every other living being has this same goal. They seek the same sort of happiness, and that way you can develop, and all these living beings are your mother. So imagine all your mother want the same thing, which is the ultimate true form of happiness. And that way you can develop a strong, loving kindness and compassion towards them. And so how you can deliver that, the greatest of the repayment is to follow Buddha's teaching. And you have to find yourself, thinking that the only way to repay my mother's kindness is to follow Dharma, learn Dharma, follow Buddha's path, and then ultimately you'll reach enlightenment.
Oh, that in this one's ane kaji la Sanjay Thamje ju kur de rangi che mogote Sanjay Denge Sanjay Shangse Mangbo Ye Nyambatab Jong Sejang Tene Shindo Marab Time Tacha Yimbe Tendra Sambala Tene Murung de Pena sende rang mai tekon sojo donge sevi tap de po yang shena ya rala tinji chambe tene zoe kote ranyela bhabshindo that much lotion.
First I read, some people might come up with that idea that why should I take upon myself this great load of every living being? There are plenty of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas around to guide them on their way. This kind of thought, though is absolutely improper, it's base, it's shameless. It's as if your mother in this life was hungry and parched, and you expect somebody else's child to go and give her food, but it's you whom she has cared, and the responsibility of paying her back has fallen only to you.
Oh, those songs are Takashi, Dilla Karlagorson, Tanda Karlagorson, Ta Sentient to Sanjay Sala, Goyata, Dunga to Tayala, Alan game and do any Tita Sanjay, the Sanjusama Mambo Yore, Tunzuka, Chegi race, and Sanotang Mekashi, want the Lagi race.
There are, people who think like that, who actually think like that, that with all this amount of suffering and pain, they are also right amount of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. So why shouldn't they take upon the responsibility and end all the sufferings?
Oh, they tend not to give a marriage. Kare sena tindisa not on the marabchi race. Kain sena amajila puguji yobache. Pugutiki, ani amadilla robachi biuba yore, ani shamba midi yo the mambo yore, dig robachi in a Sano Ton de Baina, Kora Rang gain the Yoson, the Pugurang gain the Make, but the Nan Pugu the Marabji, Amajil Puguji Yobaji, Kog Amanaba in the Neo Majubache, Meshamba Pugu made the Memangwan to Jugurate and it tend the Baina, Trigimarawa, Petenachres.
So this sort of, just like I gave an example, so in this kind of situation, you have to think like a mother is fallen sick and then her own son thinking like, imagining that, she can be taken care by anyone, all these people around, like neighbors or friends. I shouldn't be the one who should take responsibility to take care of her. In the same manner, if you think like, if you put the finger onto the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas to end the suffering, then you are same as this son who's blaming others and not taking care of his own mother when she needs the most.
Oh, that didn't change me, but the Kurang around to Samara and Neg Chiki in that Dungen del Tawang around Sanjay Sala, Jakali, Jeb, Sanjay Salam, Gun, Sanjay Sala Toyala, to the Sano Tang Gom Yane Chech, Sanjay Salam, Gun Amarang, Matuslia, Trinstay, Samba Gogor, Mato Tangena, and this and not on the Baina, and the Tachaji radio respo.
So, since you are the one who received your mother's love, you are the one who, when your mother made all sacrifices for, you are the one who sort of survived under her care and her love. And if you can't just simply think that you should be the one who should take up this lead and take care of your mother, then it's Geshe-la said it's totally unthinkable, and even word shameless can't describe you.
Oh, Dusunza, and Rala Sinja Tamje, Toma Mebane, Ma Lendra Mambo, Chishin, Tedagi, Cap Tamje, to send the mother, Jinjamugo, and Shangba Shada him, they Timso, Sanjay Shansen, Yen Solaya, Mintua, Ranchibu, Kotopana, oh, that the Maloshan.
I read?
It's the same.
It's the same with all these living beings, who for beginningless time have served as my mother so many times, and who in each of these times cared for me in every way with kindness of this present mother. Returning their kindness is no business of anyone else at all, not for some Buddha or Bodhisattva. It's my responsibility and only mine.
Oh, that Tangeto Tonda Chibara Tadilam. Sanjay Tanje, Ane Dewa the Demba, Donga the Trawa Shenge Deang, Shanla Ramaleba, Sanjay Tanje, Dewa the Demba Yang Aranchi Bushe. Doing Tanja the Trawaya, Naranchi Bushe, Lama Sanji Kombala, Naranchi Buko, Yambi Lapi Samba, like the Hassan, that did Lapi Samba, and the same Shanel Hapaji Sano Tomba did Annie, Jachembo Sano Tomba, that the Machi lotion.
Okay, read again. So someone is going to do it to make sure every sentient being has every happiness and never a single pain. It is going to be myself. I'll rely on no one else. I by myself will see to it that every single being comes to have every single happiness. And I by myself will see to it that every single being gets free of every single pain. I by myself put them into the state of the Lama, the state of Buddhahood. Meditate strongly on these thoughts. They are the steps we call the extraordinary form of personal responsibility.
that is on the ta Sanjetus Tamala Dongelaya Tawa de ta Yelas Yembal Kaktea, the make Yambaki Chigris and my Basorangi Chigi in Sambachida. Ane Dunge to Tanje Tawala and Ara ranking between Chigi and Sanjetanje Dunge del Meba Soyal and Ara rangi Chigi in There much Lama Sanji Kombala and Aran Kibukia, Sanji Sala Sanjent to the Kyoya, touching each again, somebody go restadi.
So, so at the end of this step, as we discussed before, you have to realize that you are the one who should be taking this responsibility, and you must take it, and you must take now. And there's no one else, that you can blame or point finger to. And so when you reach that kind of visualization, that kind of state, this is called the extraordinary form of personal responsibility. So when you achieve that extraordinary form of personal responsibility, then you can easily strive to attain Buddhahood, and you are already somewhere in the half towards attaining Buddhahood.
That is on the Aneta Sensation, Tata, Rana Sentient, and the Tayo, Sentient, Kizan, Nibaya Mendo, one at the Eta Niba de Solayona, the Neanda Bazobi Sanji, Najila Yabamato, and the Shen Solaya Mendo, the Nesonda, Rang Sanji combat. Then you touch him but to be any cushion to go as a ray and send your time maybe to ship in Nibadu. There's on that also Sanji Salam go in Nibadu, Chego do Della Nibandu, Samba Wata do Chinani or Jangure.
Again, read. I may be able to develop this noble intention, but the fact is that I am completely incapable of leading a single being to Buddhahood, much less every one of them. Then who has the capacity? This power had to be a fully enlightened Buddha, only by him, by no one, and by no one else at all. If I can reach the same state, I will be by definition have brought both mine and others' benefit to its perfection. And then every single ray of light that emanates from me, whether it be an action of my body or my speech or my thought, will have the power to accomplish the ends of countless sentient beings.
Oh, yeah, that is on the content, Matanda she generation of Javina. That Tangarang Tandangaran Sungia, Sinji Tilia, Robachi, Sanji Salaya, Goyak, Niba de Mendu, Senji Tanje Pajo, Sinji Tilia, Ya Sanji Salaya, Goyak, Niba de Mendu. That is Sulandusan and Niba de Yantaba Zobi, Sanji Ranglandu, Sanji Salam Lena Soso Tambanyan Cheche, and Sanji Sala Levaina, and it do Sanji Tangela, Sanji Gina, Sanji Topsana, and Sanji Purerek, the poor Luke Papa Rerek, Sanjela Mambola Tenchip in Neva Chetumba, or that does Kahila Sungi Chetungo, Kahi Oinema Sungiore, Kashi Hindon da Utla. Sanji Shanap Jet and Hindon that is a Chetan Shaya to so a Sanji Truba Mambo to stay and do that. Then Sanji Tobaina, Sanji Mambolaya, Dini the Dungelaya, Droyalaya, Tashit and do Tandangaran to this Sonza, Sanji Salangara, Rantoba Check Udus and that the or dus Sanji Sala.
So let's say you attain this so-called extraordinary form of personal responsibility. So at that stage, you have the intention, you have the motivation. Your intention and motivation are noble. But if you look at your current state as a human being, you totally lack the capacity to, and even one person's suffering and pain. So not to mention, the whole sentient being. There's no way you can do it. So the only way you will gain or you will possess capacity to end everyone's suffering is by attaining Buddhahood, by becoming Buddha, by attaining enlightenment. So Geshe-la just said, like, Buddhas, every form of Buddha's essence can bring benefit to sentient beings around the universe, from like in a form of speech, in a visual, and just by seeing Buddha or hearing Buddha's teaching. And they say something like every hair on your body, and that many Buddha's form can the blessing can explode.
Tene songda tene sanje ke duga la soba oi chukto ne ma songba re te ugma ola nang go ne ma songba chue tene songdang daja tomba chue songdang dramanda yo injimi ni kano ne shegu mare oi ne ma she sha ya shingdong la soba le shelab jene to zuki chue songda ba o du sanje ta nuba power ta de yores.
So the power of Buddha's blessing can be in many different variations and forms, like not just by speech, by blessing like objects, and by Geshe-la said from the center of Buddha's head there is a very powerful release of blessing to all the sentient beings in this universe.
White umbrella, also the Buddha is head is speech. Godma dugala sobat de sanje oi chuto no sonda tane nga de la thai nga wo chela nga tu sior nga drum ne la ya chelap je nga jen ding drum de ya nga jola mata pa te ba de ji to sama dunge ra mata pa yin ba juwa ke ji ke jing joa yung ba wo du mata pa re njo do gore lo ge do gore tu ste nga la so ba le chelap je ya de nga ge chu sonda ba de yores.
So the capacity of Buddha's blessing is like limitless. Like Buddha can just bless this particular drum, and the drum will have that energy to bless all of us, and guide us to the give us the energy which will guide us to attain Buddhahood.
Oh, that to sanjil that to pe masibat ne nubata power ta no sama yosonda tu ya sanje salaya le la boya mare le bain kesi le bain ta ko duje pige metosla kandrej ndoba yoba na yin je song de ke song jue de nang dang tu ji tu chik de ya dile chik chue ngan so mi chik jela chi dandarang e di she de ben de me ko marwa sanje ke chue ndoba je song de bain na 파교 버다 다 가와이나 오 ям바 도잘 대간나기 뒤지 등인데 라르게 되나 파교 따라 오 메가 냐년년 되는 마다 단데다 initiation la soba 냐년 되는 마다 솔 initiation 뒤직도야 오 송야 직 송데 바이나야 메초솔 암초라 마가 만다 거네 거대야 소순 데바터 거야 그 아니 야레야야 야 타히 간된도나 아니 대첸다 대면도라 소바 최 만다 상직 송직마 송데나 뒤지를 송데 바이나 되수기를 송다베나 아니 밑에서 정말로 고야를 소소소 로가로가 따닥따닥 건 늦었어야 산지 살아야 고야를 다시读수요래서.
It is said that it is believed that when Buddha gives teaching, let's say he is giving teaching here, so everyone, all these people around the world can hear the teaching in a form that they will understand the best in their own language, in their own mental capacity and their own intellectual level. So this is the sort of the amazing power of Buddha's teaching. Say somebody with highly intellectual will receive the teaching, in his own, mental ability. And likewise, somebody with maybe different language or maybe different intellectual level. So accordingly, the Buddha teaching will sort of automatically translates.
Oh, to sonza ane daja tomba ya shagu pumbirela tanda doji din pandon dine jagala yor devala ya heshing dodela na ta sanji sung de ma dode rumbo long dele ya padin ribun la ane jaga mege tanda arapati sola padin ribun la ya ane dungor chaju sung jabares kala chakra ke dusne chawa sung jabares. Oh, those two chitlia, Sonia the Sheshin the Shago Pumbirella, Gelon Tonda Mambola, and Zomchin, Gelon Chanja de la Ane, Heshing Dola, Ngama and Dot and the Lord Yores. They were some delay, but Tuji the Apadin Ribun like that Arabati Shola and Ribun Yumayosara. Oh, Dilea, Tungur, Sajula Sobas, Kalachara, Tajut and the Song Chawat and the Song Shires.
So those of you who has been to who have been to this is like Eagle Hill in Bihar, in India, this top of the hill, and Buddha. One time Buddha gave a teaching there. So there were like thousands of disciples on that hill, and but far in South India at that time, some of you might have been this Amravati, where one of the Kala Chakra was held. So disciples they were hearing the Kala Chakra teaching, and at the same time those who are near the immediate vicinity with Buddha, they are hearing whatever Buddha is teaching at this time. But those who are like 1,000 miles in South India, in Amravati, they are hearing the teaching of Kala Chakra, because at that time this is more appropriate to those disciples in Amravati. So just like Geshe-la said, so Buddha's teaching has that power to sort of translate to automatically to the disciples' intellectual level, or his even his language and anything. Yeah.
Oh, that was sonza. Ane tushechik la ya tu song to begin nuba yore sanje la te sonza. Ane tene sonda tas soso ya ngarang so ya mahi da tu chini ayang gom chen shanju ji sen thoba chegu do shanju sen la ya tu chen ta sanje ji sala ya soso rang sanje tham je ge tön de ya sanje sala di sanje ji sanje na yin ji yong ba chegu go do an di ma shin na sanje tu chang ma la ya dongye la ya chötap min du san ni go go res.
So when you hear all these sort of great powers Buddha possessed, and it's far from easy task to get enlightened, So you must realize that as well. So you have like sort of uphill battle, and it's going to be very difficult, and you need to put in like immense amount of effort, and so with all this determination and this very strong motivation, then you have to work towards attaining Buddhahood. You have to study Dharma. You have to, feel this great, noble compassion. So everything you need to do to enlightenment, to gain enlightenment, you must feel responsible and take action towards it.
Tambo sanje tamje sanje salang go ba sho san tong na ya. And so sang jig marvelam, the mar so did Sanoton, Sanje Tanje Sanji Salam Ghost and somebody Yobaina, so on a round did Holia Pigel, Lemagoba Mixi, Lega Jachembo, in the Holia, Chuan to the Tazit and Delaware, Tena, Sanji Salaya, Sanje Tanje Sanji Salam Goba, Ho Sanoton, but Lord Jachembo Kebaina, and so the Dinyam dea San Jelerman, so harding mares.
So just by developing a wish for enlightenment for every other living beings, for all of them, just merely by wishing that you already have a blessing, for your own self to get closer to attaining enlightenment.
Oh, then this on the Tasanji Salat Togudu, not Togudu Lat. That's Sanji Sala, the Google to Sanji Salam Royal, the Gomja, the Shanju Senalin chair, that the Tama Danja Gomja, Lojoya, Korajaya, Churchaya, Mambo. That's Sanji Chechore, Sanji Chechuranga, Sanji Salaya, Drogo Reze, in Sanji Lana, on Digi Maritata, Yin around Chego, Sambagores.
And at the same time, Geshe-la said, you must stress on the urgency of this matter. You can't afford to procrastinate. You can't say like, okay, today maybe okay, just let it go. Today is I'm tired or whatever. Maybe I can work towards it tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow you have some other excuse, and then you'll say maybe next week, then next month, next year. So there's like, you'll never actually get closer to that step. So you must realize this urgency and take the actions right now.
Okay, that cannot lazy. Right now is beginning, start. Oh, those songs are not in a Sentient time judge to the Sanji compound. They knew to know I knew the top of Hikin in the Shan and the Shanji said, you my mind by Che, that the Malosh and so.
Okay, so I read here again. And so, for the sake of every living being, I will do anything I can to achieve this one great goal, the state of Buddha. With every speed, think this way to yourself and do anything you can to develop this genuine wish to reach enlightenment for every living being.
Oh, then this on the Anne Shanse, Jankap, Sanjay Tonati, the Rando and Bemet and Joasan and Timid the Melo neighbor, Jela Rambi song that dear Malosh and wire you like practice.
Okay, read here. While you practice these meditations to develop the wish for enlightenment, you can also reflect that when you achieve Buddhahood, you will, by way, automatically gain everything you need for yourself as well. Our Lama mentioned that this point was stated in Lord Tsongkhapa's exposition on the steps of path as being very helpful in preventing a person from slipping to the lesser way.
Oh, that is a Jundi Manga Dunje, Tambos, the Ninja Chamber Jitrubai. That is on the Jundi Manga doing your race, can Shanju Saint Balaya, Jundi Manga doing Gongo race, Laimba, Mahi Gom, Tenden Gom, Tenzo Gom, Yon, Chamba Ninja, Hassan, or the Bato doing your race. That Dumbo did it. No, so Gomba in a tinny, Shanju Saint Rodogamato, Dilly Loxi. But doesn't pass ya on Shanju Saint Lokaji when you're like Yoma. That doesn't shitty Drubaina, Samal and Drubaina, and Shanju Saint in the Jigaward.
So this so-called cause and effect instruction, as we know, has 7 steps. So the first 3 steps of the 7th part is all it will provide you, foundation for great compassion, and there is no other way to gain compassion. Every day we hear about compassion and attaining, this great compassion. So this is the only way and the most precious way to gain compassion.
Oh, then this on the Tatus Religion to the Ani Soso retreated our Cheba in a Mahi, Gom Mad, the Soso Mana Chipa Sanja Tam, Young Yamaja Badul Gomja. Then it was a trim the garden Chambotagi lad what was Sang Mahi to go a Carolana, and Manzo Shanju Sanja Chachin.
So when you go for a retreat or when you're doing your own, personal meditation, so you must find a way to remember all that we just talk about, recognizing everyone, all these 3 steps, recognizing everyone as your mother, and then feeling gratitude towards them, and then the repayment for their kindness. So you do this over and over again, then your compassion will slowly grow, and then you will gain this great compassion.
Oh, till Nale Balama in and Rasu in and Taba in and on the Tuduchin, Yalichin, Punch, and oh, to Gomni, Yanni and the Gomchin, Mahine, Ma Punch, and Yama Reni, some church, and the Kanekongo, Makiba, the Mahi, Gom, Tendengo, Tenzogo, Tuchin, Punch, and Yandron, Kenzel and Rona, Yichin, Gomni, and the Shaju just said, Machiba, Tus Gomni. Chegormado, Gom Jela de Cadina, Emptiness, Goya Chipo Marda, Shanju, same de la Goya, your Mahi, Chipola, Nyama, Lot, and the Gongo and a Gongo word, and the Tendengo. So, Ami Chipo, Nagi, Zewa, Sinji Tam, Jelazewa, the Lake Dumundo, Ale Diabo, Dan, Gomne, the day that Chipa, Yona, Tintigor, Dijana, Mayon, and Tigo, Mar Gongo word.
So, at the beginning, you might find it a little difficult to meditate on one of the topic for so long. You might run out of reason, or you might think like it's not going anywhere, and but then you must not lose hope and try to push yourself to the limit. Try to do it again and again. The practice, the secret lies in practicing it every day in every different form, and normally you have only one way or one subject to meditate, so you try to use these 3 other steps, not just emptiness. Yeah.
Oh, that was on the Ani Shanju same Jankap Sanji Tomna Te heard the Rando and Bemet and Joasana Dilo Saswa. Jundi Menga Dumbosum, the Ninjas, Shidruba Yimsi, Yongi Chambane, Teson Jindribo, Miwa Los Shons, maybe Tate at Senja Tanji Dende, Chamba Gom, the past, like the lotion to set.
So I read here. The first 3 of 7 part in this cause effect instruction provide a great base for great compassion. this beautiful form of loving kindness comes out as a result of these three. So there is no separate meditation instruction for it. One must, though in its place meditate upon loving kindness, where you wish that every being have every happiness. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that in this one, that Shanju send the ane oh to cinema gomchine yang the yand gomche ane that the Shanju send the laya ma yewa double chebaina mersen jusen laya to singing to your that the kind of mena that didn't laya the answer Shanju send rotan yitching the Jundemenga doing go on the Shanju send but Rambaching Rotan Yore, Penadine, Singapore Ari Drobaina, Moral Rotan Yore, Namdola Rotan Yore, Trusinland Rotan Yore, that then I get Ari Lay at the Chiquachik, Sangmalon Red, Legi War, Ringtunda, and then Damada Remat. Singapore Ari Roya Chasandra, which Pashesha and Nashin, Ari Malepa, the Sheba Nashinji, Junde Mahin and Gotsubagi, and Sanji Sanju sent Mate, but Ane Gondang the thing to Sheshbare, Dilata. What do so
Geshe wants to stress again that this part is sort of dedicated to the gaining compassion, and you have to find every way to find or gain this great compassion, and there are many ways to there are many variations of compassion as well. There are many different levels. There are many sort of variations which Geshe said there's no need to go through at this time. So the more important thing is doing this meditation and finding ways to improve and gain your compassion.
Oh, that then is on the tongue around Sama Logia, Kandarmanda, Senje Tam Jej Tundoya. Nga Sanji Tobar Hill, Senje Tam Jeton, Senje Sama Tanji, Sanji Sala, Goba Show, Sambisamba, Senje Tanji, Sanji Toro Chiga, Toba Show, the Toba de Narang Rang, Chigi Ying, Samba the Takaduina, that should do Shavina Dirida, the Disano Tangores.
So, and another thing, like, this urgent sense of responsibility that we talk about. Geshe said not to forget it, and because like otherwise we might tend to get distracted with our daily activities. So you must keep that in your mind when you carry out, and when you have free times you can think about it. When you have free time you can meditate about it. Trying to gain enlightenment for all the sentient beings.
Oh, then there's some of the Shanju say. Majeba does ya Soju Jula Tanda Jeo Mara does a Majeba Jewa Jita. Jitania Soju Jula Jeva in the Manyamba Shanju Sen Lazaba, Tendego Dombalas of Shishaba does in a Manyambiana, and it does a Nyamba Seba, or that does in Malam Jesha, Nyamdo, and Malam Jonga in Roa, and does Nyam the Malam Jan, during the station Zoba, and Jema to see Chumba in Anima Paragan, and the logo takings.
So Geshe would like to conclude here, and nonetheless, we Geshe propose that we all pray together to attain this great compassion, and once we attain this great compassion, we pray that it may never get lesser or go down